We've talked a lot about innovation, okay? The last time we talked about innovation, how to succeed. Okay. Innovation, how to make it a success. We talk about different types and methods, methodologies, processes, types, typologies, and so on for innovation. Okay. What is innovation? Do you remember that? I'm sure you remember. Okay. We've talked a lot about that last time. So I'd like you to come up with your own, after you've done some study on the topic, I would like you to come up with your own definition again, using that sketch. How would you define innovation? You have a couple of minutes to think about it. You can also take notes, of course. And it would be good to include some of those words. Use those words in your own definition. Innovation is about ideas first, right? It's about novelty to a small or to a large degree. Right? That is important. Okay. Innovation also includes creativity. Okay. And also we need to describe and explain what's the difference between innovation and invention. Who wants to start first?
Innovation and invention. Innovation and invention. The difference between innovation and invention.
Use your own words. We're not seeking for something formal here.
Funny.
So in our world, right, in our understanding about innovation, so in my view,
Yes.
so in my view, innovation is kind of like we create something or we put incremental on something that can perform better or can be efficient, and in terms of in the company, they can get more return on that.
Okay. So you're talking about how innovation actually creates value.
Create more efficient.
Efficiency. So we're talking about innovation process. A process that will be improved in order to take the company into the next level and make it more efficient.
For example, before we have a computer, so after we have computer, after we have internet, we have the company going faster than before.
Okay.
So it's kind of like innovative thing.
Okay, in other terms, what you're describing is the adoption of technology. No? Yeah. But we also have different types. You talked about incremental innovation. Okay, we also have some other types. And we're talking about processes as well as products, as well as architectural innovation, which is a different term for organizational innovation. Okay, we have discussed about business model innovation, if you remember the other time. Okay. Any other contribution?
I like to use my country. In Singapore, we have advantage. So you use new water, which is a recycled water. So that, I mean, it is an idea that the government came up, that it can actually recycle water, So that's the idea, and from the idea they came up with the concept of recycling wastewater, and then they came up with the idea of new water. But the invention was that with the invention it came with a new kind of innovation. It's a new concept that is accepted by the people, that we can actually, I mean, it is not a quick process, but it's a process that people slowly adapt to the idea that we can consume, we can actually use new water, and new water is equally safe to drink, something like that. And then it is also an innovation in the sense that we have developed, facility, infrastructure that to make that innovation feasible, and of course it's not just a product which is the new water, but it's also the whole process of producing the new water, right? And of course it's a breakthrough to us because we never thought of using recycled water. So I mean, to me, the new water is a concept that can cover, this whole area. And we, of course, our way of living changed because of how we consume our water. So.
Okay, this is a very good example because it integrates all, more or less, all of those words and concepts together. So innovation actually is a field for businesses to include different types of, let's say, stakeholders, okay? Different types of processes in order to come up with something new, whether that is a new product or a new service, okay, or a new even business model. Okay. Nice. Do you remember that? Okay, we have an innovation in the middle. Okay, we also have on one hand the users. Okay, the final users. We also have. We also need to discuss and measure how that can be viable in the marketplace. Okay, and what is possible with current technology. Okay, and if we cannot develop something now, maybe we can keep it and use future technology and make it something viable in the future. Okay. The last bullet point is a definition that more or less includes everything. Innovation consists of all those scientific, technical, commercial, and financial steps that are necessary for the successful development and marketing. It's not only development, it's also marketing. Because if it was only about development, then we would talk about invention. So we include marketing in order to make innovation of new or improved manufactured products, the commercial use of new or improved processes or equipment, or even the introduction of a new approach, okay, to a social service. That's why R&D is only one of these steps. We also have marketing, okay? We also have the manufacturing process, and all the other processes. So innovation is not just a section, a department within a business. It's a whole philosophy. Okay, it's a culture. We discussed about what is changed. Okay, some critical elements. How much? So what is changed? Is it about product process? Okay. How much is changed? Is it something radical or incremental? What's the source of the change? Okay. Sometimes it's technology. You remember the market pull and the market push? Okay. Does it come from technology or does it come from market? And the influence of change. Does it have social or commercial role? Okay, we have also talked about the different innovation drivers. If you remember, So in the middle we see the need for innovation. Okay? But where does this need come from? On one hand we have technological advances. Okay? Technology push. We also have the changing customers and needs. So the market. Okay. One innovation driver is competition. We live in a very fierce competitive environment. Okay? So competition pushes for change, pushes for innovation. And we also have the changing business environment. For example, in Thailand, we not only have Thai companies, we have companies that come from abroad. Okay, so globalization pushes also for change. So the local competitors, it is also the potential competitors that come or may come. I'm sure you remember the different dimensions of innovation. Product, service, processes, business innovation. We've talked about that last time. And we have also distinguished and explained the difference between each dimension, if you remember. Okay. I will skip that, we have talked about that. Then again, we have different types of innovation. On one end we have radical, on the other end we have incremental. But we also have organizational innovation and modular innovation. Okay? We've also described that. Briefly, we've talked about the different degrees of innovation, whether it is new to the market, new to the company, new to the world, okay, or is it something that would previously existed and just with some improvements improved, for example, the performance, or we target the same product into different segments of the market, okay? That figure also describes the continuous improvement in innovation. So on one hand we have the degree of innovation, on the other hand we have the dimension. Okay? So we have, on the dimension side, we have the processes, the deliverables, and the business model, organizational innovation. Okay? On the other hand, we have incremental, radical, and transformational. So, at the bottom left, we have incremental innovation in processes. So that is about quality, how to improve quality of business or products. Okay? And once we go towards the organizational innovation, we talked about more about the business as we do business, but not as usual. Okay? And at the very right up, we have a revolution, a very new firm, new business model, developing new products. Okay. Do you have any questions so far? I'm sure you more or less remember. Okay, we'll talk about that. That's the innovation funnel. You remember that also includes open innovation. We'll describe and talk about that later in more detail. Okay, so we have ideas, we have the idea generation phase, ideas that may come from customers, suppliers, employees, okay, different types of stakeholders. Then we have, of course, some ideas will be chosen and further exploited, and some ideas will be rejected. Some ideas also will be recycled for future use. And of course, some projects will be terminated, some others will continue, and at the end we will have one or two projects that will go to the market, okay, as new products or new processes, whatever that is. study on it, review them, compare them, and come up with your own comments. Good. I'm happy to discuss about that. Who wants to go first?
Yeah, I can start first. So
It's also important to describe how you did that. Okay? How you reviewed the articles, how you did the comparison.
So I was choosing the 3 articles, which are the an integrated innovation process models on Australian biotechnology firms, the innovation as a competency of the service organization, the role of technology, knowledge, and networks, and the last one is management innovation paper. So the comment on the contrast between those 3 will be well, let's talk on the key point of the similarity first. It's on the 3 important key drivers, which are the technology, knowledge, and communication. For those 3 papers, you can find that these 3 are the main driving force.
So we have technology,
knowledge, and communication.
okay?
Yeah, those 3 are the key drivers of the innovation in the organization.
Okay. Drivers.
Yes. From my perspective.
Okay.
And all 3 are focused on the process of implementing the new technology in innovation. And the contrast that obviously big difference between those 3 is that one paper on the service, they focus on the network and the value of the resources.
So we have network and we have the value of resources.
Then the management viewpoint will be the focus on the type of the new process, not the technology.
Say that again.
That network and value is from the service side,
Okay.
service industry. So when we that's a paper on the management in innovation, the focus on the management will focus on the type of new process.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and they're not really concerned on the technology itself. It's just the process that they expand the area in the industry. And for the innovation in biotechnology firm, it will be on the stage of the process and the organization structure.
The stage of the process.
Yeah.
What exactly? do you mean?
Relate with the organization structure of the company.
So we're talking about organizational innovation. more or less, improve the current structure in order to become more efficient, more innovative?
In order to have the improvement in process, it depends on the organization structure.
Okay. So process improvement. Comes also equals okay.
Yeah, so that's what the main conclusion on the different and similarity of the
Okay. All those three were conceptual papers. Did they had some findings?
Yeah.
Did they collect data? Empirical findings, I mean.
The integrated innovation process models, they do focus on the key concept of the model, whether it's work. They do the interviews and the data collection during the interview to identify the state of the innovation, and then each state they look at the management organization structure, monitor, and they have in-depth interview to review the development of the process.
Okay. So they had some in-depth interviews.
Yes.
Okay. So in-depth interviews, that study had some conducted some in-depth interviews.
Yeah, and the observations.
How about the other studies? Did they follow the same approach?
ที่เป็นเซอร์วิสอะใช่ค่ะ Well, we were talking about the same paper, so I was asking whether he find any point on the service industry, the paper on the innovation as a core competency of the service organization. They were saying that there are three factors on the resources, which are the technology, network, and knowledge. And they review, yeah, they do the literature review on each one for that paper. So different methods.
Do you have any questions about the process? I mean, the process that you conducted, the comparison. Did you have any question? Maybe you have any question about how to review. Did you have any difficulties to do that?
I do have some difficulty finding out on difference between service industry and the normal organization structure, because the service is something that I not very touch on, and I don't know which part is the main purpose on the study. I mean, the value of the customer is, but what they define is not so details that we know on each part.
Okay, I will give you more papers to read and also help you explain.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Who's next?
Okay. So I read three papers. One is the democratizing innovation, the evolving phenomenon of user innovation. The second one would be the same as hers, the innovation as the core competency of a service organization. And the third one would be innovation management measurement, a review. Actually, the last one was my kind of area of interest on measurement of the innovation. So the rest, I not really cannot compare with the other two. So I just compare the two papers and leave the last one as another standalone one. So in general, the first one, that democratizing innovation, they talk about the involvement of user in reflecting unconventional requirements. So the user give the feedback to manufacturer, come up with a customized product. So the other also discuss about the degree of the user involvement in defining the innovations. And the last part that the author was mentioning about is the innovative community that are born the company and the user together with the availability of the internet.
Okay.
The second paper, general idea is that the author mentioned about three crucial components in marketing a product, which is what's technology, knowledge, and network. The other add another part which is crucial to all these three, which is that every innovative product needs service along the life of the product. Let's say service industry depends on knowledge. Innovation depends on the creation of the knowledge. And service differentiations come from people and their contribution of knowledge. So it's kind of user-driven approach to the innovation. The method that these two papers use are different. The first one, the democratizing of innovation, they use the quantitative survey analysis, and they represent the findings in the tabular data to display the results. The second paper used the review of literature. So they combine information from many literatures. My comment on these two papers, they have common message on innovation, which is both of them believes that innovation comes from user-driven approach with the enabler of the internet. So it makes the collaboration of user to innovation easier and cheaper. The second paper also mentioned the combination of physical product and service. So they combine these two together, and they call it the service package. Innovation is seen as not just an invention, but the after-sales service dominate the product life cycle. So that's the whole idea and the likes between the two. The last one would be the innovation management measurement. The author discussed 7 factors framework which he construct a maturity model to measure the innovation of a company. So these 7 domains are inputs, knowledge management, strategy, organization, culture, portfolio management, project management, and commercialization. So they just measure the innovation in these 7 domains. And the source of this construction of the models come from the combination of existing tools in this domain. So we went on a lot of literature review and pick some from these authors. My comment is that the author did not mention how the domain area were developed. They just review it and they just pick it from what the author believed that might be a very good domain to use, but didn't show why it has to be this one, or will there should be other domains as well.
Okay, so how, what you highlight now is important. So what is your question, how?
It was the author didn't mention why he picked these 7 domains. That there might be more, or
So
there might be
there was
some
no
other
further explanation of
Right.
why they chosen.
Right.
Okay.
And then my comment is, Arthur went into detail of each domain and thoroughly discussed the completeness of the tools for evaluating each domain. Another approach is that I think we should use is by using the maturity model concept to measure the firm readiness for innovation. Using these 7 domains as a guideline, then this could be a research to find common characteristic of each innovative firm shares. So that would comment.
That would be future research, a suggestion for future research. Good. Very nice. Did you face any difficulty in reviewing those articles?
No, not really. It's quite straightforward.
Next.
G.
For me, to start off, I pick 3 out of the 10 based on similarities. So I go for 3 papers, which is innovation management measure and green innovation in technology and innovation in innovation management. And the 3rd paper is on the types of innovation and interfirm cooperation. Well, these 3 papers actually looks into the definition, which I enjoy reading. And the first 2 articles, they share quite similar viewpoint. That is a big research gap with regards to the subject of innovation. There's a big research gap there. And both papers, they conducted very in-depth, wide-scope research on reviewing the literature review before they go into constructive recommendation. So they actually look into a wide range of literature review, okay, before they come up with a recommendation. The first paper on innovation management measure, first it holds a wider and general scope of innovation, okay, a bigger scope than the other 2 papers. The other 2 papers, the one on green innovation, focus on the new term. What is the new term about?
New terms.
Yes. So they try to have a clear and more specific definition on green innovation. And they try to separate the word innovation and green innovation. So they want to see, exactly how you can define green innovation is. So I think they did a good job there. And then the 3rd one is on the types of innovation. Here, the researcher investigate on the impact of inter-firm cooperation over innovation. So how firms help each other to create innovation. So that I thought was quite interesting as well. And that was the foundation of why I picked these three papers, because they have some sort of trying to define what innovation is and how innovation comes about. So the first, research, the second part I talk about research force on firm level. So whether they are on firm level or a higher level. So like the two other papers, the type of innovation and inter-firm cooperation, okay, they focus on firm level. So when they talk about innovation, they are talking about firm level, all right? So, however, it is a quantitative research paper that highlights the relationship between the types of innovation and inter-firm cooperation. So here we add in one element is the relationship. So not just innovation, but also the relationship. So in terms of research question, the first paper, which is innovation management, here they talk about what are the measures that has been used, okay, and to what extent they adequately populate and dimensionalize in a very comprehensive and ethical framework. It means that how these measures that have been came up, how effectively are they used, to the to a framework that can be understood. So it talks about measurement and how effective is the measurements. In terms of research objective, the first paper mentioned about innovation gap. So a lot of emphasis on innovation gap measurements. So there is a gap, between the actual and the theory and the practical. So it really highlights that there is a gap there. So the second paper, again, they focus on the concept of green innovation. And they also review a lot of literature with regard to green innovation, okay, because they want to come up with a clear definition of it. And the third paper, of course, what I mentioned is the linkage between production network and the cooperation over innovation. So again, there was how these three papers, okay, are compared. So research methodology. In terms of research methodology, the first paper is actually very systematic review of all the literature review. All right, very systematically, and then they try to relate the literature review to the measurements of the innovation management. All right, and there was a lot of summary done with the literature review, and then the author discussed the strengths and weaknesses of each measurement, and that's how he came up with the gap, research gap. And the second paper, in terms of research methodology, is that the authors try to identify there is a difference between green innovation, ecological innovation, sustainable innovation, and environmental innovation. So again, it's not just green, but he actually make it wider so that we can see a bigger scope of what green management can become under the umbrella of it. And the third paper focus on specific area, specific measurements of innovation management. And they use poster questionnaires, and they use likelihood tests, a lot of models. Okay, and I don't have to talk about sample size. And the findings, like what Thuy mentioned, okay, 7 categories, all right, and they have 7 categories. But for paper 2, which is green management, innovation, they also come up with 6 important aspects of the different definition. So clear, they identify the term, and then they separate various terms to make it very clear. Okay, and the last paper basically talks about process innovation. Okay, and relating to cooperation over innovation with suppliers, Okay. They also talk about radical innovation. They also talk about cluster effects. So in that area. So in my conclusion, the research for paper 1, which is the measurement, they actually clearly highlight 2 types of measurement gap. That's good because they tell you, they don't just tell you that is a gap, but they tell you where is the gap. Okay, so there is called the validity gap, and there's also an ambition gap. So there's 2 gaps that they identified for us. So the second paper, which is on green management, compare well-designed ecological innovation from different firms and sectors so that they can contribute to theory building on a macro level. Yeah. So they come up with good definition so that you can use that definition to be a bigger scope level, right? And my reflection of the paper is that innovation has been long been recognized as a very important drive in economic growth, and most empirical research and survey confirms shows that innovation leads to new products and services that are higher in quality and lower in price. So these 3 papers actually tells me that okay, there is the direction is over there, and then measuring innovation is important. After reading the 3 papers, measure it is very important because as business grow, profitability in the knowledge age depends on the innovation. So the business grow and a lot depends on innovation, but how we measure it is the important factors. So these 3 articles actually direct me to that thoughts. Yes, and I think basically I done it this way.
Very much correct. You raised an important issue here. You talked about the different levels of the different firm levels
Yes.
of innovation. Okay, we have the micro level, which is the macro level, which is within the firm.
Yes.
Okay, the firm. Okay. We also have that's the firm level. Okay. We also have the mass level, which is the industry. So here we have industry level. That includes competition, for example. Firms that actually operate within the same industry. And we also have the macro level, okay, which is the context that they operate in. Okay? So the macro level is the geographical level. Do they operate in a country? Do they operate within a region? Okay? And then again, this is only one part of the conformal helix. Do you know what the conformal helix is? No, you never heard of it. Okay. So, we have the core, which is the firm. Okay? And we have 1, 2, 4. Okay. One is industry. Okay? Then the firm operates it. The other is government. We all know that regulations have a direct impact of how firms operate. Okay? What else do we have? We have another 2. Sorry? What did you say?
I'm just guessing.
Yes.
Like-
What did you guess?
substitute,
Substitute, what do you mean?
kind of like a rival.
Competitor.
No, competitors we have here industry. Huh? Yes, customers are a part of. Wait. Civil society. Okay? With customers we have NGOs. Okay? And what else do we have? It's very easy to guess. You're here today. You're here now.
Institution.
Yes, what kind of institutions? You're here now.
University.
University.
The universities. So this is the controllable helix. But something is missing. What is missing?
Technology.
Not technology that is not missing. It's part of the industry. People talk a lot about that. Your colleague here talked about that. Now,
Green, the environment.
Green
environments, exactly.
environment.
So we also have environment. So the quadruple helix plus environment it gives us the quintuple helix. Okay. There are articles that describe further both helices. Are very important for society, for ecology, for innovation, for growth. Okay? So if we take the quadruple helix, what do we have? We have governments. Okay. What governments offer? Or aim to offer? They don't succeed every time, but they aim to offer and provide us and develop a framework. Okay. For what? Okay? So that's the role of the governments. And then we have industry, civil society, and universities that aim to do what? They are all members of a network, right? There are different stakeholders of the same network. Okay, so we have democracy. What else do we have? If we combine industry, civil society, and universities. Is that right? So the aim of businesses, not only businesses, of people, of consumers, okay? Of the industry, okay? Of NGOs, for example, civil society, of the universities are to promote innovation, okay? To promote entrepreneurship, okay? To promote technology, to adopt technology in order to become innovative, in order to become entrepreneurial. Okay? and of course in favor of not only consumers, not only products, not only services, but of the environment also. Okay? Which is very critical. If we develop, it's common sense, isn't it? If we develop products and destroy the environment at the same time, that's not sustainability. Okay. So this model is not sustainable. So if we include environment and we protect environment and we innovate, okay? And if we include all the plus environment, what do we have? Let's just talk about that. Yes, we have sustainability, correct. And so if we become more sensitive about people, okay, civil society, if industry collaborates with universities, okay, and if governments actually develop the framework, the right framework for the industry to bloom and for collaborations between different parties, okay, to foster, then the result is a sustainable. The result is a sustainable system, okay, that develops products, services, outcomes, offerings, whatever that is, but to satisfy customer needs on one hand also, okay, but not to destroy the environment. Okay, that is very critical. You can also look for, you can also use those keywords to search for articles and to read more about that. So that can be a framework, in fact, that can help you to develop your research further. Okay. You push the button when you talk about different levels.
It's really either one.
What else do we have?
Every three papers a little bit similar to others. The first one is innovation as the core competency of the service organization growth technology innovation network. The second one is the collaborative innovation with customer, a review of literature and suggestion for future research. And the third one is a type of innovation and inter-firm cooperation. Basically, these three papers has the similarity of the knowledge, collaboration, and network and relationship, internal and external. That's why I picked these three, because I interest about network. The difference is the approach that they find the result. That's why it's become like the difference of output. The two papers here, innovation as a core competencies and the suggest for the future research, they use kind of comparison of method. Comparison method and review of the literature and come up with the conclusion. But for the third one, the type of innovation and interfirm operation. They use econometric models which fascinate me and use a lot of the most of time to pay attention on this paper. Basically, for those two of review, it's come up with the result that the firm should cooperate between internal and external, and technology, network, and knowledge has been inference as factors. And for the collaborative innovation with customer, a review of literature, here they conclude the conceptual framework for collaborative innovation with customers, which is they have driving and retaining force, feasibilities, implementation, and further development. And they go through each individual topics in details and come up with nine suggestions for future research, which you all can read in detail by yourself. No, I won't report. Yeah. For the type of innovation and interfirm cooperation, basically they have two research sections. The first one, innovation performance. The relationship between innovation performance and product network of interfirm cooperation. They're using 435 firms from.
So it's a survey.
Yeah, they use survey from across in the industry, but the construct level they use firm level. They define all type of innovation. So the type of innovation, process, product, incremental, and radical innovation is taken as dependent variable. But for independent variable, they have 7 independent variables. 4 of them are 5, 4 or 5 of them 4, I think 4. 4 of them are external factors. It is have cooperation or innovation with client and firm and supplier, production network with supplier and client firm, the share of 3 largest client firms and the cluster effect in dummy variable. And they have like size and R&D expenditure and R&D personnel. And the result show us that for process innovation, the result found that there are significant positive relationship between cooperation over innovation with supplier and negative relationship significantly with the production network with suppliers, and size are positive relationship. But for product, is that cooperation with supplier and cooperation with client expenditure are positively relationship. But for incremental innovation, cooperation over innovation with supplier and R&D expenditure are positively related. But for radical innovation, cooperation over innovation with client firm and supplier are positive relationship, as well as R&D expenditure.
Okay.
But what I found is difficult to me is that I found a model they're using P as a dependent variable. They're using, in the equation, they use Pi equal function of beta O plus X plus
P1?
P1, yeah, but
P1
when they
proposition
try
1. P1 is proposition 1.
P1 equal function f what try to say this beta 0 plus sigma beta j xij. But the explanation they say y. They're using y, but I don't know why in the function they're using p.
Getting very complicated.
That's confusing me. Because the explanation they use y, and normally it's supposed to use y. As like
So maybe there's a typo mistake.
maybe typo, but
The important thing here is to understand. The equation is not important. What is important here is that we talked about research questions, okay? This is important for all of you, in fact. And you also talk about the conceptual framework. You also talked about different propositions, okay? Or hypotheses. It's more or less the same. Propositions is more for qualitative, hypotheses is more for quantitative, okay? The important thing here is reviewing a paper is to understand how actually they came to develop those research questions, okay? Usually you develop your research questions by exploring the literature. Reviewing the literature, you identify the gaps, and the gaps help you to come to research questions, okay? Okay. The research questions, the literature review, the research questions, and the research context will help you develop the conceptual framework, okay? And those also will help you develop for the conceptual framework the propositions, okay, or hypotheses. Okay, this is important to understand reviewing a paper. You had all that in the paper. Okay. Any questions about it? Right? This is very important for your research,
I
for your
have
PhD.
another point that I found is quite difficult. Like what I found, like in the final page, that in the part of result, they mention about the significance of independent variable that are positive, negative, but when I try to read through the table here, from the significant level, like p-value or something, I found it's not really correlated. Like not, like when they are like 0.01 less than 0.01 is significant, right? But I cannot like point out from the table with the result at the back.
So what you're trying to say is that the table is not linked to the results.
Not linked to the result, or it's my mistake that I not understand, or they are the new method to interpret the table.
Well, I need to review the paper again.
Yeah.
And maybe we have another discussion about that also. If any other colleague of yours reviewed the same paper, then you can discuss that with them. Otherwise, let me review that and we can discuss. Who wants to go next? How many are left? Let's keep it short because we need to move on now. Yes, ladies first. But let's keep it short.
I will give three presentations. The first one, management innovation, as per time for innovation. They discuss on the concept, like for the old paradigm and new paradigm of the innovation. They're talking about like technological innovation and non-technological innovation. They differentiate they focus mainly on the management innovation, which consider non-technical innovations, and then they differentiate like what is the role of management innovation. For example, like management innovation is deal about the way they work, like how the management like perform. Whereas there is another term like administrative innovation dealing with resource allocation, human resources, and the key concept of management innovation is dealing with new management practice like process, structure, and technique. Right? The second paper that I review is Green Innovation in Technology and Innovation Management and Exploratory Literature Review. They also discuss the different concepts like of green innovation, ecological innovation, environmental innovation, and sustainable innovation, which they share also like different concepts. You want me to go into detail on this? Okay, and the third paper is like type of innovations and interfirm cooperation. They discuss there are 4 types of innovation, which are like product innovation, process innovation, incremental, and radical. These 3 papers, they use different like methodologies of technique. Like the first paper, management, they use like qualitative method. The second paper, green innovation, they use quantitative. And the third paper, they use like neat methodologies. But the like common concept of these 3 papers is all the innovation is how to increase the effectiveness and efficiency of both like internal organization process and how they make like increase competitiveness of the firm, enable economic growth in a sustainability way. Okay, and the one of the paper they discuss type of innovation. They discuss about cluster group. They propose that the industry in the same area, if they collaborate, like, tend to have more innovations. And another paper, they mentioned that there are internal and external like collaboration for innovation. The innovation can come from the staff in the organization, or can external source come from the supplier or like customer, but the level of the benefit that they gain is different. Like for example, like if the company collaborate with the supplier, it tend that the company will gain more benefit or be more innovative than the supplier side. Okay.
You talked about collaboration.
Network as well. That's the
Networks
other
as well.
mention. Yeah.
Collaborations and network.
And cluster.
There's different types of networks, clusters, some with environment, ecosystems. On one hand, we have collaboration. What else do we have within a network, within a cluster? What else might have? On one hand, we have collaboration. On the other hand, we have
Competition.
Okay. Can we have collaboration and competition at the same time?
Yes.
Okay. So how could we describe that with one term? The collaboration and competition together. How can we describe that with one term?
Competition. Co-opetition.
Competition. Competition. Okay. And we have also talked about we'll also talk about the controllable and immutable fallacies. Okay? You can also further explore competition within different networks, clusters, and so on. Okay? We've talked about that before. Okay. And now we talk about competition. I'm describing that because you're also, apart from having seminars and reviewing the literature and reading and further reading and so on, you're also in the process of identifying a topic for research. Okay? Some of you may find interesting to search more for that. This is a quite new field of research, so many gaps are out there for that. You may want to, if you find it interesting, you may explore that further. Okay? Who goes next?
Okay. So I choose three journals. The first one is about innovation types and innovation management practice in service company. Another one is democratizing innovation, and the last one is in the role of technology and knowledge kind of framework. So the big picture that I saw in these three is the linkage and the support and reinforce between each journal. So my first one is they talk about the point is they talk about the degree of innovation that link to the product innovation and also the service innovation, and they try to measure which degree that can create the high performance of the innovation. So they found that the radical in degree like send the most effective way to like innovation perform. So it linked with the and apart from that, in the type of innovation they separate into. The first one is product innovation and another one is service innovation. So they dig in detail of the industry. In service industry, they go to like for example financial and telecommunication. So in that industry, they just interested in product innovation, not service innovation. Comparing with the transport and also a retail sector, they focus more on the service innovation and linked to another journal that mentioned about how user can co-create the innovation. And when they ask or when they test with the user to like innovate, have a freedom to innovate something, they usually innovate in the degree of a radical. So that support with the first journal that said the radicals usually like perform well, better than another degree, incremental or me too innovation. So and also the last one of the journal, they also talk about the network and kind of that Rick already mentioned that it's also confirmed that the radical degree have performed better than another degree. So it's kind of like a linkage and reinforce that I saw.
Good. How do you find that process? Interesting? The process of doing that?
I think it's kind of like when we read one journal and read another journal that supports, so it's kind of like to make it on and confirm on.
Good, very good. Any further questions?
But it's the same question in some of them use the quantitative method. So still question about how to read the table or kind of that like in a statistic way kind of that. But comparing to another two that usually use the qualitative or literature review, normally understand that.
Yeah. That's normal, don't worry. You need to actually practice more about tables, figures, and different types of analysis and so on. And there are people who can help you if you ever reached that state of analyzing qualitative data?
That was one of the reasons why I didn't pick this paper.
Next.
I compared entrepreneurship, regional development, and international journal, types of innovation and inter-firm cooperation. Inter-organizational innovation promotes in small and knowledge-intensive firms. These two papers. From the first paper, I found the four types of the innovation: product, process, incremental, and radical.
It's different. It's 2 dimensions and two levels. It's not 4 levels. It's 2 dimensions and 2 levels.
2 levels.
2 dimensions. You mentioned about radical and incremental. Okay, that's a level. We have also dimensions. You mentioned, what was the other 2? Open and process.
Yeah, product and process.
Yes.
Innovation.
Those are different dimensions.
Yeah, from the empirical and study in this paper, I found some sentences maybe for is much more important for comparison. This paper confirmed the importance of inter-firm cooperation to overcome firms' internal shortcomings. Maybe some firm have to advocate such informations. Except internal organization, I think regional or some other context also need innovation. So I go ahead with another paper. But this paper also the innovation happened in a small firm. But from the comparison, I think innovation need happen in organization, also in the regional context, and I think they need external relations, such as formal and informal relations, for exchanging and sharing human ideas, human capital, and finance, knowledge, and so forth. I think all these aims to gain competitive advantage, also in organization and both and in regional context, and to reduce risks for the organization and the regional, and achieve economic success.
Good. Any differences between the papers?
I know I didn't find much because they are so close to each other. Just the innovation happened in a small firm, but I think except a small firm, innovation also needs happening in external.
So it is important for companies, actually, what you're trying to say is to build external relationships with other partners of the industry, the community, and so on, in order to succeed, remain competitive, and sustain. This is what you're trying to say. Good. I think you're the last one. Okay.
Yes, I picked inter-organizational innovation promoters in small and knowledge-intensive firms. And the second paper was collaborative innovation with customers, a review of the literature and suggestion for future research. The third one is democratizing innovation, the evolving phenomenon of user innovation. And the reason why I picked these three was because I was interested in how these three papers touch base on innovation with external organization or typical external factors. The first one, interorganizational innovation promoters in small and knowledge-intensive firms. It talked about a firm, the business of a firm that was driven by knowledge, which was based in Norway. It's a small organization in general. And it talked about the importance of how and the benefits of the external factors that play a role in their innovation and their business. They proposed 8 hypotheses in the paper and used quantitative survey and statistical approach. But their limitation, as I read, is that they were not able to control the non-biased response since the number of respondents perhaps were very limited that they could find in that situation. The second one, collaborative innovation with customer, a review of the literature and suggestion for future research. This paper is more specific and it talked about the demand of why innovation is needed. So they reviewed the database and they were talking about driving and restraining forces. And they were talking about the relationship between the company and the customer buyer. They talked about something like make or buy. So they were able to make sure that when they produce something, they manufacture something, it's something that the customers need. Because otherwise, the customer will not select or they will not decide to buy. But they might make it by themselves. The third one, democratizing innovation, the evolving phenomenon of user generation. This one, I think that their focus is more on the economic or business purpose. They talked about the samples of innovation developed by manufacturer and user. So they had a comparison chart, comparison table. So the reader can see which product from which company was developed by the manufacturer, which product or which service was developed by the user. And they also talked about the importance of user-centric innovation. And this one is different from the other two papers because it also leads, the benefit of this paper will lead to the massification of product manufacturing. And lastly, they talked about the innovation level, for example, low-cost innovation, innovation community, and innovation at the policy level. These three papers use a quantitative approach.
Good. Do you have any questions about the context or the context of the literature or the context of
I think the statistical part.
statistical part?
Yeah, I need more time on that.
I still don't understand that. So, don't worry.
Or there are systems actually that do that automatically with data, and you become familiar with that when you reach that point by reaching that. Okay, so do you have any questions about the process in general? Any comments about that?
I have a question from the others, from reading the abstract. What is Me Too innovation?
What is Me Too?
Me Too.
Incremental. I do that too. Me too.
They do it, so I do it too.
Is that
Me too.
similar to
I
like
found in marketing
copy?
context like me too affects
too.
marketing theory.
Like that, me too.
Me too.
Yes, yes. Incremental.
Incremental.
I'll do that too.
So me too is an innovation, or it's just the imitation of what the others have done. Is it? Can you call it?
It
It might be innovation for the firm.
Is it more reverse engineering? It's like a reverse engineering.
No. No.
It is a kind of innovation. It is a kind of type of innovation.
Me too is another term for incremental.
It's a firm level.
Firm level.
So
For example, a company can develop something new, okay, and a competitor is a follower, so it gets the idea, okay, it gets the process, and develops something similar.
So if for
Samsung and iPhone, is that?
It's not.
like for example, my brother is an engineer, so he shared me a lot of stories. He worked in a Thai company, and he said there's a Taiwanese company named Huawei company. So what they always do is that they buy technologies, latest technology from Motorola, from Nokia, from Siemens, and they copy it and then they sell it at a cheap price. So
Cheaper price.
is it called innovation, or is
It's called limitation.
That goes to the reverse
Yes,
engineering concept.
they buy technology from them.
they buy whatever they did, whatever that this
Or they
company
just
launch,
use
they
technology,
buy,
they
buy.
understand the technology and they adopt something similar.
Creative innovation.
It's not creative, is it?
In this journal, they talk about the degree as well,
Yes.
and they talk about the three
Three different degrees of
Yeah,
innovation.
they start with the incremental and then me too. Incremental, me too, and radical. So is it the same state, the same degree between me too and incremental?
You see, me too is between.
In between. So
So it's radical, me too, and incremental.
it's not the same
Well,
degree with incremental.
Well, some papers, most of the papers actually use me too
As the same.
as incremental. Maybe they introduce a different perspective. Yeah, that's probably the case. Okay, I would suggest you take a break, a very short break, because it's quite late, and come back in 5 minutes to further